So had a pretty eventful 24 hours, I guess. So let's see. Last night we had huge storms come through here, and I mean, it didn't affect us much. I haven't been down in the woods to see if we lost any trees, but there are trees everywhere. We rode down the roadways, and the crews have been out there. I don't know if it was just people going out there or actually the road, the road crews. They cut up all the trees that landed in the road. But pictures all over Facebook. So it was a pretty big storm. We're supposed to get more rain tonight, and then we'll have a day off, and then we'll get another 3 or 4 days of rain. So business is going to slow down. It always slows down when it rains. Let it clear up for even 2 or 3 days, and all of a sudden I just get swamped. But the rain really slows you down, which is fine. It'll pick back up. Let's see what else did happen. So I've been telling you about the bank, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I made a payment. See, my debit card wasn't working, so I was making payments with the credit card, and so I transferred money. As soon as I spent the money from the credit card, I transferred money. It's the same bank, the credit card and my checking account. So I took the money out of my checking account, put it right into the credit card as soon as I spent it, and it didn't show up. So that got me to thinking, oh, I need to take action today. So I came out here because the bank didn't open, or well, the call center didn't open until 7:30. So I thought I'd come out here and start working on this. And he told me to clean the carburetor. So I did. I tried to clean it, and it was terrible. The whole thing was just varnished, and so I cleaned it and put it back on, and it helped. It actually helped quite a bit, actually. I don't know, maybe I didn't get that in the screenshot, but so I can push the choke. It would only run on choke before, and it ran really well on choke, actually. But as soon as you put the choke off, it would die. So now it will run with the choke off, but it's definitely sputtering a bit. So you still have to run it with the choke in order for it to run well. So I decided I was going to have to order a carburetor. And I decided to take this one apart. And I don't know if you remember, but I mean, everything has had to come off just for the carburetor. I've taken the muffler off. All the cowling has been taken off. I had to take the PTO. I didn't remove the PTO, but I had to take the PTO and move it out so I could get these 2 bolts out for the so I can get the muffler off. So it's been a bit challenging, and so I don't lose any parts. I've been taking bags and putting the screws into bags and zip tying to where they go. That way I don't get too confused. That's a pretty good method I found years ago, just zip tying the bags. I should have zip tied this, but that goes right there. We'll just leave that there for now. Let's see, and then when I can, I try to put the bolts back in the holes that they came from. That saves on some of the zip ties. And this is the intake manifold. So the carburetor sits on top of this, and fuel air mixture goes down into here into the cylinder on both sides, because there's 2 cylinders. And I'm a little bit concerned about that. You can't buy this part anymore. It's obsolete. Can't even find them on eBay in halfway decent condition. So the gasket, or the sealant, was peeling off pretty easily. And this is not a screw. This isn't held together by screws. It's held by, I don't know what. I really can't tell you. So I would have to drill out whatever that is to separate the bottom half and the top half of this and put it back together. So I decided I wasn't going to do that. But what I did do was I put Permatex silicone all the way around the edge. That way, if this is leaking air any, maybe that'll stop it. And if I still have problems, then I'm going to have to take it apart and do some serious work to it. But the thing is you got to put I have to put this whole thing back together. just so I can test it. You know, the exhaust is out. I guess I can run it without some of the cowling. This, I don't, let's see, negative, or, okay, this has got to be screwed down somewhere. So it's, and this has been worked on before. There's different size bolts that, I don't know, they just didn't use the right bolts to put everything back together. So we'll see if we, it's just been a challenge. And again, I said this in yesterday's video, what's so funny about this is you get on YouTube, and the YouTube experts clearly hate the newer lawnmowers. I would say they hate anything that was made since the 90s. It was before the 90s, before the overhead valve came out. They love them. They love working on these things. But if it's 90 or newer, they're just constantly complaining. Just junk. They're just junk. It's just junk. Well, maybe, but the Beast, it's 30 years old. It still runs. That's my mower, the Beast. And it's easy to work on. The valves, for example, if I wanted to adjust the valves on this, I would have to take this off. I would have to take the head off, remove the valves, grind the valves, then put it back and grind it and grind it and grind it and just tell you it's perfect. Then you have to lap the valves and put it all back in. But with the Beast, for example, now other mowers are a little bit harder than this, but the Beast uses oil pressure as a hydraulic to adjust the valves automatically. So you don't even have to adjust them. They're just constantly adjusting by themselves. On other ones that don't use the hydraulic system, you just, 2 bolts. You unscrew one, tighten the other, put a feeler gauge in there, and it's done. But this, you would have to take the entire head off and use a grinder. So I don't see how that's easier. This one has points, and you got to adjust the points all the time and clean the points. Now imagine, just like the carburetor, I disassemble everything. If you want to adjust the points, you got to disassemble all this so you can adjust the points inside that box. And they don't even sell points anymore. I mean, you can't find them. So, whereas with anything else, it has an ignition coil now. So I'm actually confused on how this one works. You know, I'm not the. You have this coil, I guess. I was calling it a distributor yesterday, but I think it's a coil that sends sparks to the spark plug. That's what I thought the points did, but I don't know. Maybe the points work in conjunction with the coil. Yeah, it's all, yeah, that's what it is. The points work with the, but these go out all the time. I remember when Grandpa and me used to work on when I was like 10 years old, we were constantly replacing points. So that's a maintenance item there. So I don't know. I don't see it as easier. I'm going to make a lot of money off this. And I've been thinking about this. I've watched other YouTubers talk about it. When you're working on old equipment like this, and you don't know the standard hourly, how long it's going to take. I mean, you can look that stuff up. You know, if you're going to replace a carburetor on a modern day mower, how long does it take? Oh, it takes about 30 minutes, so you charge an hour. Well, there's nothing like that for this, so you just charge however much time it takes you. So it's taken me a lot of time. Just to disassemble everything took 2 hours. And I don't think I'm going to charge him to clean that carburetor, although it took me a while. That was a nice thing, is I could, with the carburetor cleaning, it was a pain. I didn't like it. So the bottom is attached, and all I do is, just unscrew these 4 screws. The top came off, and then you're bending over the lawnmower to clean all the ports, because the bottom part is where everything was at. But anyway, this thing was just terribly corroded. So if you got an old lawnmower, I mean, trying to find parts, impossible. So when I got that done, I called the bank. That was at 7, or no, when I got done cleaning the carburetor, I should say. So that was at 7:30. I got done cleaning the carburetor. I'm kind of jumping around today. And got a hold of the lady. Now the guy was supposed to call me back yesterday. So what it is the bank, my bank, has sold out. I loved my bank. The credit card, the reason I stay with the bank is because of the credit card. It's got a huge amount on it, and it's very low interest payments. Now I don't use the credit card anymore, except for some purchases that, you know, let's say the credit card is safer, in my opinion. If I want to make a purchase on something online other than Amazon, for example, go to Jack Small Engine Repair, I'll use the credit card. That way, if something gets messed up and somebody hacks in, they're not stealing all my money out of the bank, which is harder to recover than it is to recover from a credit card. So that's why I hold on to the credit card. But I don't use it other than to make the payment, or make, you know, to make a purchase and then immediately pay it off. So since they switched over, my checking account has been completely messed up. So I had to call them the other day, and the guy was reasonable, helping me. He stayed on the line for half hour, 45 minutes trying to help me. And he finally said, look, I don't know what's wrong with your system. You know, the system here is just, it's not working for you. And I had a bunch of problems. I couldn't get Google to AdSense to make deposits into my checking account. And so I started using the credit card to make all my purchases on Amazon and everything. So yesterday he was supposed to call me back, and he didn't. And I knew he wouldn't. I mean, he said, I promise, I promise. He said it like 3 times. And he never called me back to tell me, you know, what was going on with my account. So this morning I tried to make a AT&T online purchase to get more hotspot for my computer. It was $10, is all, and it was declined. My debit card was declined. So I thought, okay, I got 2 problems here. One, the original problem still exists. The debit card is not working. And I made a payment to my credit card from my checking account, and the credit card has not received the payment. Now, before they sold out, it was automatic. I mean, it was instantaneous. You made the purchase, or you made the payment, and it showed up on the credit card. I mean, it's the same screen. You got all your accounts on one screen. So the credit card's always down at the bottom, and your checking account's up here at the top. So you look at your checking account, and sure enough, there it is. You know, let's say it was $50. $50 gone. And then you go straight down the page. You just scroll down. That's it. And $50 added. But it didn't do that here. So I called and contacted a very nice lady today, and oh man, she did a fantastic job. Sometimes I'm just absolutely shocked, based on how bad my luck is sometimes with people, that you run into a nice one every now and then. And not nice, I mean, she was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. She listened to me talk, and she says, okay, we'll get you lined up here. And she noticed that, okay, there's 2 systems, and I don't understand why they got 2 systems, but one system was showing the correct zip code that I live at, and the other one was not. So she said, I'll fix that. She fixed it. And so I tried the AT&T thing again, didn't work. And then she contacted the card people, something, I don't know what that is, but she contacted this lady, and that lady said, oh, there's a problem here, and she tried to fix that. And so I tried to make another purchase, didn't work. We went through this maybe 15 times trying to make a purchase, and it just wouldn't work. So we started to think, well, maybe AT&T is messed up, not the card. Well, I couldn't think of anything else to buy. You know, we went on Amazon and I bought something, but it takes Amazon forever to decline my card. Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. And so, I mean, we made a purchase on Amazon, but it just never showed up. So we weren't sure if Amazon had actually went through the process of deducting the money from the bank or not. We just didn't know. So I said, well, here's an option. I said, do you want to go for a ride? I said, we can go to the gas station. Sure, let's do that. If that's what you want to do, we'll go up to... So we went over to the gas station, and the card was declined. So, I mean, now she's really just befuddled, and she keeps talking to this lady, the card issuer or something. I don't know who it was, but she keeps messaging this lady, and we start talking about the weather, waiting for the lady to reply, and the lady reset my card, and it still didn't work, and it was just... So as I was walking in the door, something occurred to me, and I said, is it possible to cancel the card and get me a new one? She says, yeah, there's There's a $35 fee to that though. She says, I'm going to do everything I can to get that waived. So, and she never hung up with me. She was just messaging people. Whereas the other guy, he kept hanging, you know, he kept putting me on hold and I had to listen to music. But not her. She just stayed on the line. Hi, did you guys get the storms last night? She's, you know, waiting for a response. And yeah, and pleasant conversation. Just fantastic customer service. She was genuinely concerned, and that's what I said at the beginning. I said, this is all the money I have. I mean, you've got, I said, even if I wanted to get in my savings account, which is a different account, different bank, I had to take that money and put it into this account. So, I mean, I have no money other than the credit card, and I'm not even sure the credit card is getting paid. So at some point, they're just going to revoke my credit card because I can't pay the bill. And she assured me that the credit card payment did go through. I mean, absolutely assured me. So fingers crossed that is correct. And then she gives me her personal number, not like her home number, but her number for her desk. So if we have problems in the future, I can call her personally. It was just a great interaction. So I said, hey, before you go, can you forward me over to your boss? And I said, you've been great, and I really want to tell her that you've been great. So she says, well, the boss is a little busy. And I said, okay, well, you know, if give me an email address or something. She says, hold on, let me message her and see if she'll take your call. So again, message, and she's talking about the weather and, you know, whatever. So never put me on hold, which was just fantastic. I can't stand that music. So she says, okay, my boss is Abby. She's going to take your call. Thank you very much. And you have a great rest of your day and the whole thing. And I was almost sad to have to hang up with her at this point. So I talked to Abby, the boss, and I told her, I really hope, is there something that you can do on my behalf to reward her for this? This was just beyond the pale. I mean, she went up to the gas station with me, and we worked through this, and she's working with me, and now I'm getting a new card, and she waived the fees and the whole thing. So she says, yeah, I'm going to make a big deal about this. I'm really happy that you're happy. So I hope she gets something out of the deal. So let's just hope the card. Oh, well, I should say that we decided to go ahead and use Carolyn's debit card because the last guy we talked to said her card's not working either, Carolyn's card. So I just didn't even think about using it because I was already convinced that it wasn't working. So after we hung up with, her name was Haley. So after we hung up with Haley and Abby and all that today, we decided to go back up to the gas station and use Carolyn's card to see what, and it did work. So the last guy was wrong. So at least now we have some way of making payments, bills, you know, whatever, AT&T and that kind of stuff, insurance, with the Carolyn's card. So they'll send me out a new one. And now I'm feeling a little bit better that the new one will work since Carolyn's card worked. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video over on my other channel. It's going to be a brand new video today, so I'd appreciate you check it out. So I hope I can inspire you to get some work done so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.